Good morning, dear students of final year examining. Hope you are all well in this Corona COVID-19 crisis. Both physically and mentally, you are healthy. Today, I will discuss briefly and very shortly in some subjects of our anesthesiology. The subjects are oxygen therapy, uh, neuromuscular block and muscle relaxants, anesthetic drugs, uh, general anesthesia, post-operative care, and a brief in ICU. So first, I will started with oxygen therapy. Oxygen therapy definition is therapeutic use of oxygen. We use oxygen for our metabolism from air, but when we use this for any treatment purpose or for survival, this is called oxygen therapy. Therapeutic use of oxygen is very important for both the medicine, surgery, gynae, ops, and all the subjects. That is, oxygen therapy is needed for all subjects. So first of all, I uh, do indication why oxygen therapy. There are many oxygen in air and a lot of oxygen we can inspire from air, but why oxygen therapy is needed? Oxygen is indicated for relief of all form of hypoxia other than histotoxic. That is cyanosis due to any cause. Following major operations in shock, as for example, severe hemorrhage, coronary occlusion, etc., when metabolic rate is raised, that is thyroid crisis, hyperthermia, shivering, etc., and also some other conditions where oxygen is deficient in our blood, such as carbon monoxide poisoning, chronic respiratory failure, and anesthetic purpose, ICU purpose, etc. etc. Oxygen is manufactured from air. There is so many ways of manufacture oxygen, but medical oxygen is manufactured from air and it is stored in cylinders, tanks, etc. These are the oxygen cylinders. Oxygen cylinder have a characteristic color code. That is, you can see in the slide. This is a black cylinder with white neck. This is international color code for oxygen. Oxygen cylinder and its pipes and fittings also, those which are always black or white, no blue, no red, no orange color is used in oxygen purpose so that no one can do any mistake for oxygen. Oxygen, how can we offer oxygen to the patient? There are so many ways. That is technique of oxygen therapy. These techniques are, we can use a nasal cannula and it is used in nose for oxygen, which oxygen is when needed for conscious and well patients. When nose, it is not indicated to give in nose or not possible, we can give through a mask which is fitted in the mouth and nose. So there are some techniques. This is called meat oronasal mask. We can give 6 liter per minute, and there is FiO2 will be up to 60%. FiO2 means oxygen concentration in inspiratory air. That is will be 60%. Harish mask. Some variations of this make oronasal mask. That is called Harish mask. It's also almost same for make oronasal mask. Venti mask. 24 to 60% oxygen can be given with venti mask. I will discuss about venti mask. Edinburgh mask for oxygen at low concentration. A little bit সামান্য অক্সিজেন দেওয়ার জন্য আমরা এই মাছটা ব্যবহার করি nasal catheter plastic nasal cannula you have always seen in pediatrics ward or medicine ward the plastic nasal cannula is fitted in the nose for oxygen therapy. High flow nasal cannula. This is used nowadays in to treat COVID-19 patients. High flow nasal cannula, portable oxygen apparatus. Portable oxygen apparatus, when we in field or somewhere other than hospital, then we use portable oxygen apparatus, BOC portogen, such as divers or in some other situations, climbers, etc. use. Oxygen chamber or tent. Oxygen chamber or tent you have seen in neonatal ward, that is infant is placed in oxygen chamber. Anesthesia machine. Anesthesia machine always use oxygen in anesthesia machine. IPPV and ICU. IPPV means intermittent positive pressure ventilation. Intermittent positive pressure ventilation. That is an artificial ventilation when we given. This always needs oxygen, gaseous oxygen. So these are the oxygen therapy technology. I will discuss about Pentimask. Pentimask is used widely in hospitals. Pentimask. Our respiratory pattern, you have learned from physiology that our respiration is about 10 ml per kg. Inspired air is needed 8 to 10 ml or approximate 10 ml per kg, but it is not passes or flows equally throughout the time. Okay. If this graph is written, there is a peak flow. Peak flow is about up to 60 liter per minute, maybe, and smallest flow is 0. From 0 to শুরু হয়ে হয়ে এটা বাড়বে এবং up to 60 লিটার per minute চলে যায়. So when we use a low volume of gas, the patient feels some air hunger. To avoid this, Venturi effect is applied in a mask that is called Venti mask. Do you know what is Venturi effect? Venturi effect is one in which this is a property of gas flow. When a pressurized gas is released in a small point, there is a negative pressure at that point. If this negative pressure is higher, you use aerosol, you use not aerosol, but you use such as some painting. You see that paint is placed in a other container and air is passed through above the paint, and paint is passed with very microparticles. Uh, Also, you can see in nebulizer there is liquid placed in a pot and gases passes. That is air is passes, and at that point near the liquid, air is released openly, and there occurs a negative pressure, a high negative pressure, which drawn the liquid into a microparticle gases and passes. This volume is increases. If I pass 6 liter of oxygen per minute, patient will receive about 60 liter of gases per minute. That is, this 54 liter is drawn from external air. That is, patient receive 60 liter, and up to this volume is about his peak volume, peak inspiratory volume, and so patient will feel never air hunger. So this ventimus we can give up to 24% to 60% oxygen we can. 18-bar mask for oxygen at low concentration, and nasal catheter we use usually for oxygen therapy. And I will discuss about high flow nasal cannula. High flow nasal cannula is used for nowadays widely used for COVID-19 patient treatment when the patient feels air hunger. This cannula is for especially used for high flow of oxygen. Up to 60 liter per minute of oxygen can be given through this cannula. And this oxygen gas is humidified, warmed, and passes through nose. So that when high flow gas is passed through airway, airway become dry, and temperature, patient loses his temperature from the membrane. So this high flow oxygen, when used high flow oxygen, it must be warmed at the body temperature, and it must be humidified. A high flow oxygen nasal cannula is have a chamber where oxygen is mixed with air. Then it passed through a heating chamber where gas is heated to up to body temperature, and then passed through a humidifier where it is humidified. So no dry air is passed through the patient's airway. This is high flow nasal cannula. Its advantage is patient can talk, patient can communicate with others. Cannula is fitted in nose, so his mouth is open, and that is the advantage of high flow nasal cannula. Portable oxygen apparatus, usually a compressed oxygen gas is used in this chamber. Oxygen chamber or tent I have discussed. Anesthesia machine, there is an oxygen port, a flow meter, and oxygen. And IBPP, also for in the ICU or anesthesia, all other IBPP, that is artificial respiration, we use oxygen either from air or from cylinder, oxygen cylinder. There is a picture of oxygen therapy, that is, I can add there, when high flow nasal cannula, you will be a doctor some days after and you will treat the patient. When high flow nasal cannula, it is costly and not available. For COVID-19 patient, we can use for high flow. Our cylinders, these cylinders, you have seen the picture, cylinders থেকে আমরা যে অক্সিজেন দেই, এটাতে আমরা 10-12 লিটারের বা 15 লিটারের বেশি কোনোভাবেই দিতে পারি না। We cannot offer more than 15 liter per minute of gas from this type of cylinder and its connectors, this flow meter. But patient needs about 40, 30 or 60 liter of oxygen, even 60 liter of oxygen need. So high flow nasal cannula is used. If not available high flow nasal cannula, you can give from two cylinders, one with a mask, such type of mask, and another with a cannula, so that from this cylinder will pass through this mask about 15 liters and nasal cannula another 15 liters. This cannula may be fed with this opening of the mask, and so patient will get about 30 liter of gas. You can use for temporarily for some period such types of technique. I will discuss about oxygen toxicity. Oxygen is a oxygen gas is not flammable, but it can help others to burn. So it is dangerous for fire. Fire and explosion. If there is any source of fire near oxygen, anything such as a tissue paper may be burned or some other ways. If there is fire, then fire and explosion risk is remained as oxygen therapy need. Also, there is a technique, there is a toxicity of CV depression, that is cardiovascular depression. Same causes cardiovascular depression. It should be in our mind. Absorption atelectasis. You know, in our normal respiration, we inspire oxygen and nitrogen from air. That is 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen. But when we use the oxygen absorbed in blood from alveoli, and in exchange carbon dioxide come out, but nitrogen remains inactive in the alveoli, which is responsible for inflation of the alveoli. That is, alveoli are inflated by nitrogen. Carbon dioxide rapidly passes from the alveoli to air. So when we use 100% oxygen, this oxygen will absorb in blood and carbon dioxide come out, which will rapidly exchange. there will be shortage of inflation of the alveoli because there is no gas by which alveoli remains inflated. And so distal alveoli, which are very low participants in respiration, become adhesive wall by wall, and this is the atelectasis. This is called absorption atelectasis. Oxygen is absorbed and alveoli become vacant, and these walls are adheres one with other, and this is there is an atelectasis. For long time, 100% oxygen therapy is should be avoided because of these complications. Carbon dioxide narcosis, ventilatory failure due to loss of peripheral chemoreceptor sensitivity. This is another complications. Some patients, especially of chronic bronchitis patient or other lung disease, chronic lung disease patient who have lost their sensitivity of carbon dioxide. They have remained high carbon dioxide level in blood always. They have expiratory problem. That is bronchial asthma, long time bronchial asthma, bronchiectasis, emphysema, etc. They are they have lost their carbon dioxide sensitivity. How we inspire? When carbon dioxide increases in blood, there is a trigger of inspiration due to carbon dioxide sensitivity. But if we lost carbon dioxide sensitivity, we can inspire for there is our body protective mechanism will trigger the oxygen sensitivity. That is when we get less oxygen in blood, we can inspire. So that if we give a lost carbon dioxide sensitivity patient 100% oxygen, then he will lose his oxygen sensitivity and he will be apneic. And so carbon dioxide is deposited. Other, there may be we give oxygen, but his ventilation is defective. And so that he has no hypoxia, but he is hypercapnic. Hypercapnic. That is, his blood carries more carbon dioxide, but oxygen is fulfilled. So, carbon dioxide narcosis may occur for oxygen therapy. Central nervous system toxicity, convulsion, epileptic due to hyperbaric oxygen. Hyperbaric, that is high pressure oxygen. High pressure oxygeনের জন্য সেন্ট্রাল নার্ভাস সিস্টেম টক্সিসিটি ডেভেলপ করতে পারে। এখানে কনভালশন, ইপিলেপটিক ফিট or epileptic seizure may occur. That is all about oxygen therapy. Now I will discuss about neuromuscular block and muscle relaxants. neuromuscular, neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction, there is in all skeletal muscle, there is a neuromuscular junction. When we think of move our parts of body or a muscle or tissue, there is a signal from our brain to neuromuscular junction. And this junction impulse passes from nerve to the muscle fibers, and this muscle contracts. This contraction and for a few seconds, few milliseconds, and then reverse. This is called action potential. So how it occurs? When an impulse passes to the neuromuscular junction, there is a junctional plates in where there are acetyl release of acetylcholine from acetylcholine vesicles. There are acetylcholine vesicles in junction walls. Acetylcholine released from the acetylcholine vesicle, which acetylcholine is a uh, neurotransmitter which causes, there are two types of receptors of acetylcholine. One is muscarinic, another is nicotinic. In neuromuscular junction, there are nicotinic receptors in which acetylcholine fixes, and it causes permeability to sodium, and there is an electrolyte, there is an imbalance of electronic imbalance, and a complex mechanism occurs which causes muscle to contact. And this acetylcholine, when muscle is contact, acetylcholine is destroyed or inactivated by an enzyme, that is pseudocholinesterase enzyme. This enzyme causes hydrolysis of acetylcholine rapidly, and muscle again become relaxed. This process is called action potential. Once the action potential started, it propagates rapidly, and the whole muscle, as we wish, one hand or one leg or any other muscle can move. So, muscle relaxant is drug which blocks these acetylcholine receptors, that is nicotinic receptors, and these are called nicotinic receptor blockers. These receptor blockers are two types, you know. Samethonium is a short acting, and long acting, there are some nicotinic receptor blockers. These are galamine, tenuronium, becuronium, rocuronium, etacurium, etc. At least you know we use this muscle relaxants for operative purpose, for relaxation of the muscles. At least you remember one, two or three names of muscle relaxant, such as becuronium, etacurium, rocuronium, etc. So this is muscle relaxant. When I use short-acting muscle relaxant, that is succinylcholine, it causes rapid paralysis by rapid, and also this succinylcholine is uh, hydrolyzed by pseudocholinesterase enzyme and again recovers within 2 to 5 minutes. 2 থেকে 5 মিনিটের মধ্যে সাকসামেথোনিয়ামের অ্যাকশন চলে যায় এবং আবার মাসলগুলা কন্ট্রাকশন করে দেয়। And when we use long acting, such as pecoronium, it occupies the receptor and for a long time, and it releases very slowly. So we can use this relaxants for about for operation of 20, 40, or 50 minutes even as intermediate acting and long acting muscle relaxant. And when we use a long acting muscle relaxant, we have to reverse after operation. We have to reverse this by neostigmine. Neostigmine is a anticholinesterase drug. Cholinesterase is the enzyme which hydrolyze or inactivate acetylcholine, and anticholinesterase inactivate uh, cholinesterase enzyme. So that when we use anticholinesterase, acetylcholine concentration is raised, and as the long-acting muscle relaxant is a competitive blocker, in competition, acetylcholine wins and muscle power regains. This is the mechanism. So you should remember at least two or three names: Becuronium, Rocuronium, Entacurium as muscle relaxants. These are neuromuscular blocking agents. You should remember a few. Now I will discuss about anesthetic drugs. Anesthetic drugs are there are some drugs which are used for anesthetic purpose. Some drugs for before anesthesia used. These are called pre-operative pre-anesthetic medication or pre-anesthetic drugs. These are atropine. These drugs are used for smooth induction. Induction means onset of anesthesia. So these drugs are used for smooth induction, analgesia, and smooth recovery. These are atropine, sedatives, morphine, pethidine, fentanyl, etc. are used in case-to-case variable. These drugs are used. Uh, so before using any anesthetic drugs in anywhere, you must take some precautions. So the precautions are check-off of instruments and drugs for artificial ventilation. You should remember when you will use any anesthetic drug, patient may become apneic, may become any other complications may arise. So you should take precautions. That is, you may need artificial ventilation, and you have to facility for artificial ventilation. Intubation, patient may need intubation, and you have to facilitate for intubation. Oxygen therapy may need when you will give a patient anesthetic drug. He may need oxygen therapy, and you should have the facility for oxygen. And resuscitation. Any complication, you should have to be resuscitate the patient if you use any anesthetic drugs. And for this purpose, there must have some instruments. These instruments, some instruments are, as for example, AMBU or anesthesia machine. There must have airway tube. Airway tube you have seen in patient's mouth for opening his mouth. Oxygen cylinder and its parts, laryngoscope, endotracheal tubes of various sizes, needle cannula, etc., and sucker machine. They must have sucker machine before using anesthetic. And some drugs you have to be by side. These drugs, as for example, adrenaline, atropine, ephedrine, steroid, saxamethonium, aminophylline, dopamine, diuretics, such as furosemide. These drugs and instrument must you have for using anesthetic drugs. The anesthetic drugs are intravenous agents and intramuscular agents and IV agents and inhalation agents. Intravenous agents, I will the most common drugs which we are using for many days. That is intravenous agents. You have to remember at least two: thiopental sodium, and propofol, ketamine, etomidate, midazolam. So you must remember at least two or three drugs, that is thiopental sodium, propofol, and ketamine. You must remember, and you can answer in exam. These are the intravenous drugs. There are intramuscular anesthetic drugs also. Intramuscular are, you must remember, one, ketamine. There are some others, but you should remember only one, that is ketamine. Volatile or inhalation agents. Volatile or inhalation agents are the main anesthetic drugs which we are using with anesthesia machine. These are commonly used: halothane, isoflurane, sevoflurane, enflurane, desflurane, ether. Ether is obsoleted nowadays. All others are used. We use halothane, isoflurane, and sevoflurane. So you should remember these three volatile anesthetic drugs. Name of these three: halothane, isoflurane, and sevoflurane. And also a anesthetic gases we use. You have seen nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide we use for analgesic purpose in anesthesia machine. Nitrous oxide, it have anesthetic properties also, but this percentage is so higher that we cannot use that percentage. So we use these drugs for, you have to remember, halothane, isoflurane, sevoflurane. These three, and gas nitrous oxide, intramuscular drug ketamine, and intravenous drugs thiopental sodium, propofol, and ketamine. You have to remember these ones. I will briefly discuss about these drugs as thiopental sodium. Thiopental sodium is it is a powder form drug which is diluted with distilled water and pushed in intravenous route. It causes unconsciousness, full unconsciousness within 30 to 60 minutes, and it is recovered within 4 to 8 minutes due to redistribution in the body. When we push this drug IV, a large part passes to the brain and become unconscious. Patient become unconscious, and as time passes, this drug redistributed in the muscles and other tissues, and the consciousness regains. This is thiopentane sodium. We use for induction. Induction means onset of anesthesia. We use for onset of anesthesia thiopentane sodium. Then we use muscle relaxant for intubation, and after intubation maintains with halothane or isoflurane or sevoflurane and nitrous oxide oxygen as long as operation is done. So is the thiopentane sodium. It causes cardiac depression, central nervous system depression, etc., etc., and so many complications also have, but it is safer than other drugs, but a bit long acting, and it has a hangover effect of for 48 hours. So it is not popular for nowadays as better drug propofol, which have no hangover effect, and so we commonly used propofol. Propofol have the same properties also as thiopentane sodium, but it has less complication and less hangover effect. In volatile anesthetic agents, we usually use halothane, isoflurane, and sevoflurane. Isoflurane and halothane, it passes through lungs to the blood and brain, and as long as it passes to the brain, patient become remain unconscious, and when we stop the drug, it will eliminated from the body through lungs, and patient regains his consciousness. It has so many complications as halothane. It is a hepatotoxic. It is neurotoxic. It is cardiotoxic. That is, it is toxic for heart, toxic for liver, toxic for brain. But it is cheaper, and so we used halothane. But we use also isoflurane and sevoflurane. These are almost safer than halothane, but these are costly. So I will discuss now about general anesthesia. General anesthesia have some steps: preoperative checkup and assessment, pre-medication, induction of anesthesia and intubation, maintenance, reversal and recovery, monitoring. Pre-medication I have discussed earlier. The pre-medication is given before induction. Usually atropine, pethidine, morphine, etc. are given. In these topics, I add some stages of anesthesia. How anesthesia occurs by gases, that is the anesthetic buffers. Anesthesia occurring, there are some stages. These four stages of anesthesia. Stage 1, when we use anesthetic gas, this stage occurs very rapidly. But in earlier days, when ether is used, these stages are distinguished from one from another, and these stages are stage one is called stage of analgesia. You must remember these stages because your examination in both in written and viva, you will be asked for these stages. Stage one, stage of analgesia or disorientation. This is from beginning of induction of general anesthesia to loss of consciousness. When we use drugs, in this stage, disorientation occurs in patient and up to loss of consciousness. This stage is called stage of analgesia or disorientation. This is stage one. Stage two, stage of excitement and delirium. From loss of consciousness to onset of automatic breathing, this stage is stage two. That is stage of excitement or delirium. Uh, in first stage, the end of first stage, patient become for a small time, patient become apneic. Respiration ceases his respiration due to the গ্যাস গ্যাস সে নিতে চায় না এই জন্য শ্বাস বন্ধ করে রেখে দেয় এবং শ্বাস বন্ধ থাকে ফুল আনকনশাস হওয়ার পর থেকে সে যখন আবার শ্বাস নেওয়া শুরু করে এই স্টেজটাকে বলে স্টেজ টু স্টেজ অফ এক্সাইটমেন্ট অ্যান্ড ডেলিরিয়াম ফ্রম লস অফ কনসাসনেস টু অনসেট অফ অটোমেটিক ব্রিদিং আর স্পন্টেনিয়াস ব্রিদিং যখন শুরু হয় এই স্টেজে তার আইলেস রিফ্লেক্স ডিসঅ্যাপিয়ার হয়ে যায় Stage 3, stage of surgical anesthesia. Stage of surgical anesthesia, in this stage, operation can be done. But in stage 1 or stage 2, operation cannot, no incision can be done. Stage 3, stage of surgical anesthesia, from onset of automatic respiration to respiratory paralysis. অটোমেটিক শ্বাস নেওয়া আবার যখন শুরু হবে তখন থেকে আস্তে আস্তে তার প্যারালাইসিস বাড়তে থাকবে এবং যখন সে শ্বাস নিতে পারবে না পারবে শেষ পারাটা পর্যন্ত হচ্ছে স্টেজ 3 যখন পারবে না একেবারে তখন এটা চলে যাবে স্টেজ 4 এ This stage 3 is divided into 4 planes. Plane 1 from onset of automatic respiration to cessation of eyeball movement. This is plane 1. Plane 2 from cessation of eyeball movement to beginning of paralysis of intercostal muscles. In this stage, plane 2, laryngeal reflex is lost and secretion and tears occurs before this stage. Plane 3, from beginning to completion of intercostal muscle paralysis. Intercostal muscle paralysis এর শুরু হয় প্লেন 2 এর শেষে এবং যখন সব মাসল প্যারালাইসিস হয়ে যাবে ইন্টারকস্টাল তখন এটাকে বলে এটা হচ্ছে প্লেন 3 তে এসে সব মাসল প্যারালাইসিস হয়ে যাবে এবং প্লেন 4 হচ্ছে ফ্রম কমপ্লিশন অফ ইন্টারকস্টাল মাসল প্যারালাইসিস টু ডায়াফ্রামেটিক প্যারালাইসিস ডায়াফ্রামেটিক প্যারালাইসিস হয়ে গেলে পেশেন্ট উইল বিকাম অ্যাপনিক দ্যাট ইজ পেশেন্ট আর শ্বাস নিতে পারবে না তখন আর্টিফিশিয়াল রেসপিরেশন মাস্ট দিতে হবে প্লেন 2তেই 3তেই আর্টিফিশিয়াল রেসপিরেশন দিতে হবে। So this is plane 4. These 4 planes of stage 3 are overt, and stage 4 from stoppage of respiration till death. That is overdoses stage. Yeah? When anesthesia is overdoses, stage 3 এর প্লেন 4 এর পরে যদি আরো অ্যানেস্থেসিয়া বেশি দেওয়া হয় তাহলে স্টেজ 4 এ যাবে এবং 4 এর এন্ডিং হবে ডেথ দিয়ে, পেশেন্ট উইল এক্সপায়ার। আমরা we use stage up to stage 3 for surgical purpose. These are the stages of anesthesia, and anesthesia is given for general anesthesia. We induction আমি আগেই বলছি একটা আইভি অ্যানেস্থেটিক ডাক দিয়ে অথবা গ্যাস দিয়েও ইন্ডাকশন করা যায়। Induction, then intubation. For intubation, we use a muscle relaxant. Then maintenance, we maintain with oxygen, nitrous oxide, and a vapor, that is halothane, isoflurane, sevoflurane, etc. As long as we maintain these gases, patient remains unconscious, and when we stop the gas, recovery occurs. If we use muscle relaxant, we should have to be give reversal agent, that is neostigmine, for full recovery of the patient, and after recovery, patient is sent to post-operative or recovery unit where patient's other monitorings is maintained. Then next step is monitoring of the patient. Monitoring, we should have to monitor from beginning to ending patient's pulse, blood pressure, color, blood and fluid loss and replacement, temperature, anesthetic status, that is deep or light, etc. Ventilation and circuit we have to monitor. We have to monitor the monitors, that is pulse oximeter, pressure, blood pressure machine, etc. Now I will discuss about post-operative complication and management. This is most important for you, as you have to maintain post-operative management after passing the exam. So why post-operative care is needed? Why post-operative care is needed? As a patient, আমরা তো এমনিতে কেয়ার নেই না, পোস্ট-অপারেটিভে কেন কেয়ার নিতে হবে আমাদের? During anesthesia and surgery, patient's physiology is altered, and the altered physiology takes time to back to preoperative state. আমরা যখন অ্যানেস্থেসিয়া দেই বা সার্জারি করি তখন তার কমপ্লিট বডি ফিজিওলজি অল্টার করা হয়ে যায় এবং এটা আবার তার আগের স্টেজে ফিরে আসতে একটু সময় নেয়। এই জন্য পোস্ট অপারেটিভ কেয়ার ইজ নিডেড। সার্জিক্যাল স্ট্রেস রেসপন্স continues in post-operative period. Surgical stress, no stress response, that is some physiology is altered in stress, and এটা ফিরে আসতে সময় লাগে, এই জন্য পোস্ট অপারেটিভ ম্যানেজমেন্ট দরকার পড়ে আমাদের। Effects of anesthetic drugs may remain in post-operative period. We use the anesthetic drugs which in the body residue drugs may remain, and this effect may last for some periods. Surgical trauma, fluid loss, blood loss, etc. may affect the patient in postoperative period. This is why postoperative complication and why postoperative care is needed. Pre-existing medical problems may cause altered response during postoperative period, such as diabetes, hypertension, or any other postoperative medical problem. It may aggravate in postoperative period. A postoperative patient should be responsive to stimuli or vocal commands. শেষ শেষ করে দিই। Okay, thank you all. I'm finishing my class.